BTV Studios 2 to 4 are available for hire with cutting-edge facilities that meet international standards. Join us on our morning show and news channel for paid interviews that will promote your services and products to a larger audience.
And you know, every day that they bring convenience, reliability, and we're here to have a chat with them.
Need a venue for your next corporate event? Our events venue is designed to host various events with elegance and efficiency. From seminars to product launches, we've got you covered. Use our advanced radio and podcast studios to promote your services and products. Our world-class broadcasting equipment allows you to reach your target audience with clarity and precision.
And we'll be bringing you exciting things coming from this very studio.
At BTV Studios, we are committed to excellence, providing you with the tools and support to make your vision a reality. Contact us today to book your space and take your project to the next level. BTV Studios, where excellence meets innovation.
Bagaitso, hurt people will hurt other people. So let's break the cycle of violence. Seek help, even if you were abused many years ago. Do not wait for a volcanic eruption of your emotions. Say no to gender-based violence. It starts with you.
How are you? Really, how are you? If this question irritates you, if it sparks a lump in your throat, please get help and talk about it and say no to any form of violence.
Nearly 1 in 4 females and 1 in 7 males aged 18 and 24 who have experienced childhood sexual violence have had their first incident happen at 13 or before 30. This could be your story. It could be your husband's story, your children's story, your mother's, even your father's. So open your eyes, open your ears, use your voice. Say no to gender-based violence. Hashtag no excuse.
Gender-based violence is an injustice that silences potential and destroys lives. It is not just a personal issue, it's a societal crisis. We must stand together and break the cycle, speak out and support those who suffer. By raising our voices, we create a safer, more equal world for all. Change starts with each one of us. Let's stand together and stop the violence today. Hashtag enough is enough.
Welcome to Botswana Television Studios, where your concept becomes a reality. Looking for the ideal setting to bring your ideas to life? BTV Studios 2 to 4 are available for hire with cutting-edge facilities that meet international standards. Join us on our morning show and news channel for paid interviews that will promote your services and products to a larger audience.
And you know, every day that they bring convenience, reliability, and we're here to have a chat with them.
Need a venue for your next corporate event? Our events venue is designed to host various events with elegance and efficiency. From seminars to product launches, we've got you covered. Use our advanced radio and podcast studios to promote your services and products. Our world-class broadcasting equipment allows you to reach your target audience with clarity and precision.
And we'll be bringing you exciting things coming from this very studio.
At BTV Studios, we are committed to excellence, providing you with the tools and support to make your vision a reality. Contact us today to book your space and take your project to the next level. BTV Studios, where excellence meets innovation.
Let me thank you for staying with us here on the Daybreak. We're getting into the first conversation of the day today. Now, FNB Botswana has been awarded Best Bank in Botswana and Best Bank for ESG at the 2025 Euromoney Awards. Now, these recognitions reflect the bank's role in advancing financial access, supporting citizen-owned businesses, and funding sustainable development initiatives. Now, as a new human-centered economy emerges, the financial services industry faces a pivotal point in its evolution, And the question that arises, what defines a good bank today, and how is FNB Botswana planning to sustain and grow its impact while remaining financially competitive? So in today's discussion, we are joined by Marketing and Communications Boga Chilinde-Masebu and Investor Regulations and Sustainability Specialist Moitshepi Chalashika to explore the shifting expectations of modern banking and what it means for the future of financial services in Botswana. Ladies, welcome to the Daybreak.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank
you. Good morning. And congratulations, of course, on the 2 awards. Maybe we can start with that in understanding what these awards are, what they mean for the bank. Best Bank for ESG and Best Bank in Botswana. What do these awards really depict or paint as a picture of FNB? Let's start with you, Masebu.
Okay. So we are very happy and proud as a bank operating in Botswana to have won 2 prestigious awards, being Best Bank 2025 in Botswana and then Best ESG Bank for the first time in Botswana. So the Euromoney Awards for Excellence were established in 1992, and it assesses financial performance, innovation, and so forth, for banks and financial services sector as a whole. So for us, really, it's a step in the right direction because it shows that we are deeply invested in the communities that we serve. We are deeply invested in innovating for the customer and making sure that we make financial services more accessible. So being recognized, by such an international institution, it shows that we are globally competitive and we actually do serve our customers in a way that speaks to them. For example, when we develop our solutions, we make sure that we listen to the voice of the customer and understand what they need and make sure that we innovate towards that. So our products and services are personalized to that level.
All right. Interesting indeed. Well, of course, we're speaking about this award. Maybe we can get into more of what FNB is doing, right? And citizens, they seem to be channeling increasing levels of expectation and responsibility towards the private sector. Not only citizens, but also the government itself, the leaders of the nation. We want a private-led economy. What does this mean for FNB? And how do you ensure that value is captured in the whole process, Chalashika?
So in terms of the increasing expectations that people would have of a corporate, right, we look at it from a strategic perspective. As FNB. So we have a concept, a strategic imperative that we call shared prosperity as a bank. And what shared prosperity is that we want to use our operations as a bank, our core business, to solve problems or solve societal challenges and impact society profitably and at scale. So I've said a lot, but what that means is basically using our business to do good and to impact society positively. And then if we just take it a step lower, what that means, how we then translated it is we looked at our business and we said, how can we have impact? And then we identified 5 strategic areas where we use shared prosperity. And I'll just go through them and just give you a little bit of context. Yeah. We've got sustainable finance. So under sustainable finance is where we fund green and socially positive initiatives. And you will see that through some of the projects such as Silibe Pikwe Citrus Farm, the solar farms that we're financing, etc. And then we also look at social initiatives, and that's to solve the problems that are in our society, right? Unemployment, economic diversifications, what we see in the economy. The second pillar is financial literacy and awareness. We recognize that people need to understand money, and as a bank, we also help them with that, and we teach them about financial literacy. And then we've got SME development. We recognize that SMEs are very important in Botswana and they're the driver of economic growth and probably to a large extent economic transformation. So we have solutions there. For example, we have a functionality called scored credit, which helps SMEs access finance quicker because it's an automated tool, so it shortens the time. And those are some of the challenges that SMEs face. So we really challenge ourselves to say, what are the problems and how can we solve them as a bank? And then we've got human and social development, which we really, it's close to our heart, and that's through our FNB Foundation and our marketing corporate sponsorships, where as a bank we say, how can we invest in the community? And you'll see that through community initiatives and foundation activities, and also through our corporate arm. For example, the sponsorship of the mayors and the Botswana Premier League. So those are some of the ways that we channel money into areas that we think we can have impact: sports, etc., arts and culture, that sort of development of on the human side.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll stop there.
All right. Before we proceed, I'll be going to you, Masebu. I want us to, because you mentioned green financing, I'm just wondering how much or to what extent do Botswana come forth with these ideas and seek financing on green, going green, or on also on artificial intelligence, these areas that we feel that at the moment as globally we need to be more focused on artificial intelligence and of course taking care of our environment. How often and to what extent are Botswana coming through in those areas? If you'd say out of 10, how many applications will come going green or in artificial intelligence?
You're putting me on the spot. So I think I would be challenged to give you a number, but what I can say is that we're seeing a lot of interest, and what we're seeing is that Botswana are really taking up this green and this sustainability-led business and sort of solutions, and we're seeing a lot of interest in that sort of area. So we have a sustainable finance framework that we recently published, and what that document is, it's a governing document that then controls how that money is channeled into green and socially responsible investments, and then it also, on the other hand, outlines the criteria, because I think it's very easy to say something is green when it's not. So that document will then articulate to say this qualifies as green, this doesn't. So to sort of get to your question, is we're seeing the interest. We just need to govern the operations and the disbursements of those funds appropriately. And we also need to meet businesses and people and society halfway. And that meeting them is around awareness and education and teaching them what is green, what is sustainable, the terminology, and also making that terminology relatable so that they can see how to uptake those products. But from a bank perspective, we do have those solutions that address green and social challenges.
All right. Interesting conversation. Let's talk about innovation, since we've already started in that line, Mayor Masebu. Technological advancement. What is happening at FNB? What are the driving forces of change in the banking sector to make sure that these are integrated into our societies? People understand what artificial intelligence, what is this, and how can I also take part and not be left behind? The efforts that are being put forward to adopt and to adapt as a country.
We've noticed that obviously the world evolves, and as well as the needs of the customers or clients, they evolve. So we are taking advantage of technology to transform our services that we render to the customers. Obviously, with us using data and insights to sort of find out exactly what those needs are, and the trends that are in the market. So what we do is we have different platforms like your FNB app, which allows customers to transact from the comfort of their homes. We also are alive to the fact that people need to transact wherever they are. They also need to transact in safe and secure platforms. So although we have these platforms, also note that there is that issue of cyber security and crime that happens online. So we continuously educate our customers on that, to say, as much as we're providing this payment solutions that are easy and accessible, be aware of some of the tricks that scammers come and try to take your hard the money that you worked hard for. So those are the things that we continuously do for our customers. Just bring them along in this journey of digital innovation and transformation. And our customers are really liking it. We've seen a spike, a growth in the use of online transactions, as well as the FNB app and so forth. Yes, and we're also trying to innovate in terms of reaching out to society, where we now build sort of like a bank in through partnership with stores, like your cash plus agents, to make sure that even if you're in Botswana, you're in Kachikau, how do you then access those services? And those are some of the innovations and technologies that we've come up with. Thank you.
I think that's one of the reasons you have won this award.
Absolutely.
Of course. You want to add on to that?
Yes, I think my colleague has highlighted something that's really critical, which is financial inclusion. And just that when we're trying to solve these challenges and add value to the society, we also include them in participation in the banking sector, because we recognize that to a certain extent they might have been left behind. So we continuously then try to solve for those problems to make sure that people are accessing banking services.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, quite profound. Let's talk about what's happening right now, because you mentioned market trends, right? That kind of like sparked something in my thoughts to say there's a lot happening and also affecting the banking sector. When we speak of the economy, it's definitely affecting the banking sector. There has been the devaluation of the pula, inflation taking place. What does that mean for you? Lending rates are changing. What does that mean? Decreased diamond sales as they keep on decreasing, and synthetic diamonds are on a high demand. What does that mean for the banking sector? How is it affecting FNB Botswana, and how are you rising above the waters?
That's quite an interesting one and a tricky one at the same time.
Right.
Because I cannot necessarily speak to the economy at this point. But what I can say is that we've seen a lot of changes and impact that affects our customers, and obviously consequently affecting the bank's operation. But what we are doing is we're trying to rise above that, because we know that as customers are experiencing financial challenges, we try to sort of, for example, those that are, impacted by the ability maybe to pay loans. We sort of have a system where, we serve our customers through Boto, through Tuto, those kind of things. So we sort of try to accommodate their needs and just accommodate them where they are, and say, how do we then, if we have challenges with, if you have challenges, for example, with repaying your loan, how do we then accommodate you and educate you on how you can restructure your finances so that you don't have that impact and, obviously end up being, in issues of debt and so forth. Right. And secondly, we also try to educate them on sort of slowing down on spending, and saving more. For example, right now we ran, a deposit, sort of a deposit drive to say, because we need money in the banking system, how do we then drive deposits so that we have that sound system as a country? So those are the kind of things that we are doing. But we do note the impact, and obviously when the economy is down, the banking system also, feels that, that pinch.
All right,
Yes.
all right. Like ESG, environment, social and governance. Okay, we're coming to the end of a discussion, but it's going to be a similar question to you, Chalashika, to say there's been drought as well. When you're coming across to fund, since you're investing in people's lives, you're investing in the future of Botswana as well. How do you look at it at a time of drought, and do you still want to fund or finance an agricultural project? How does that come across for you as a beneficiation in the end as the bank? And what are really the aspects that you're looking at to say, even if this is going on, even though there's a drought right now ongoing, we're still going to go ahead and finance this? Of course, we've noted your profit before tax. It keeps on increasing in your financial statements. But what really strategies do you have in place to make sure that in as much as we're investing in Botswana, we want a return of interest?
That's quite a loaded question. So from a strategy perspective, maybe like that. From a strategy perspective, we as a bank challenge ourselves to solve problems, right? So as my colleague has highlighted, Boga, that there's a transformation or an economic climate that's interesting or challenging, and there we then just challenge ourselves to say, within that sort of environment, how do we solve the problems that the nation is facing as a bank with the role that we play in society? So right now, from a sort of, you spoke around drought and climate risk and all these challenges.
Yes.
For us, it's operating within our sustainable finance framework, and then also managing the risk. I think when we talk about these topics and when we talk about financing in general, there's a risk aspect. So looking at these sustainable projects, etc., we'd then have to see how do we manage the risk in those projects if we were to deploy funds into those types of projects.
All right. Well, let me thank you so much, ladies, for your time this morning, and of course for deliberating on this topic. Once again, congratulations to FNB.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, there was ladies from FNB Botswana and Moitshepi Chalashika, as well as Boga Chilinde-Masebu. Of course, we're talking the awards, the 2 awards that they have won, the really globally recognized awards at the Euromoney Awards 2025. Botswana FNB Bank Botswana won Best Bank in Botswana and Best Bank for ESG. Those are things that we really need to applaud. When I